In this video, I'm going to be talking about seated dumbbell curls, how to do them, common mistakes to watch out for, and why you might choose seated over, say, a standing dumbbell curl. For seated dumbbell curls, I'm going to sit at the end of a bench, feet flat on the ground, posture up nice and tall, chest up nice and big, core nice and tight. And then I'm going to start with the dumbbells at my side, palms facing in. And then I'm going to curl them straight up to my shoulders, squeezing the biceps at the top and turning my palms up at the top. All right? So nice and controlled, coming down, not swinging the weight to the bottom, squeezing at the top. All right? Now, if I want to go palms up to start, instead of twisting them, palms up at the start and then palms all the way up at the top, that's fine too. Despite what the guy at Gold's Gym might tell you, it's really not going to make that much of a difference. Now, if I go palms in the whole way, now technically we're doing a hammer curl, and that is going to place more emphasis on the brachioradialis. But from a seated dumbbell standpoint, if I want to start palms in and then curl at the top, or if I want to go palms down, palms up, and then stay palms up, either way is fine. So now let's talk about some common mistakes with seated dumbbell curls, and they're pretty much the same common mistakes that you're going to see with any curl exercise, and pretty much because in the same reason why. And the reason why mistakes happen is because ego has me wanting to curl more weight than I can actually curl, and then technique has to break down to accommodate the amount of weight that I'm actually trying to curl. So what do I mean by that? So the first mistake is swinging the dumbbells way too much at the bottom, right, to where I turn my dumbbell curls almost into a kettlebell swing in an effort to curl more weight than I can actually handle. Obviously now I'm using a ton of momentum, which actually takes the stress away from the bicep, defeating the purpose of doing seated dumbbell curls in the first place. And then the second is same type of a deal, is just turning a dumbbell curl into a total body movement that looks almost like a hang clean more than it does a seated dumbbell curl. Again, lower the weight, maintain your posture, stay in control of the weight, don't swing on the way down, keep momentum out of the exercise. And then the third is a little bit more subtle, but it's where I take a dumbbell curl, and instead of keeping my elbow stationary and bringing the dumbbell up at the top, I'm going to slide my elbow back, and then I'm going to turn it more into a row than I am actually a curl. It's a little bit more subtle, but it makes it way easier because I'm not actually having to bring the weight all the way up at the top. Allows me to use more weight, but again, it's incorrect and it's taking the emphasis away from where it's actually supposed to be. So finally, why go seated as opposed to just doing a standing dumbbell curl? Well, first and foremost, as a strength coach working with athletes, if you have an athlete or you yourself are coming off a lower extremity injury and your athlete's been cleared to get back into the weight room, but they might still be on crutches, they might be in an immobilizer brace, you want to try to cater their workout to come from a seated position. So whether it's seated shoulder press, seated rear delt raise, seated dumbbell curl, you want to keep them stable and in a stable seated position so they're not, losing their balance and then trying to catch themselves on that leg that they're rehabbing back off of. So you want to try to emulate as much as possible what the rest of the team is doing within their workout, but doing it from a seated position. So that would be the first reason why I would use a seated dumbbell curl in particular for an athlete coming off of a rehab situation like that. Number two, the concept of going seated as opposed to going standing is that it takes the lower body out of the equation, right? So I can't, or at least in theory, turn it into a total body movement. Although, what I can tell you is I've seen more times than I can even remotely try to count, people can still turn a seated dumbbell curl into a total body movement where they're twisting and turning and swinging and so it really doesn't eliminate the possibility, but the concept is to try to eliminate the lower body so you can isolate the upper body and isolate the biceps more in the movement. And that's pretty much it for seated dumbbell curls. I hope this video has helped you out a little bit, and thanks for watching.